chilling with Cholos. Yep, you read that right, and I'm about to tell you all about it. But first things first, I gotta give a shout out to all of you guys, whether you're returning or it's your first time. I can't express how much that means to me, and I, uh, yeah, it just really means a lot to me that people would take the time to listen to my stories. So, thank you. Um, Anyways, now let's get into the story with the Cholos. So, in order to do that, we're going to have to go back to middle school, specifically 7th grade. Okay, so I had a friend named Bob. We're going to call him Bob. Okay, and he was literally my first friend at middle school because I came from like a faraway place and I didn't know anybody, and we had some classes together, and you know, it was just kind of, it just happened, you know. So he would always like, one thing about him for sure was he was always stoned. Always. Like, he would show up to school and he would be wearing his lokes, and he would spit on the ground, and he would do that just to show you how bad his cotton mouth was. It was pretty funny, but like, he also would talk about like where he was from, and it's a heavily like gang neighborhood area, whatever. And you know, he would always be like telling us about this or that, or this person got shot, or this person, like, you know. And eventually, like, still in the same year, he started coming to school with these shirts, and these shirts said 310 West Gang, slanging and banging. And like, that was the name of the faction, if you will. And he wore that shit proud. He wore that shit like a cop wears his uniform or something like that. And I don't even know how the school didn't like pick up on that, because I got in trouble for wearing a Sex Pistol shirt. So it's like, what? So, anyways, like, he would, you know, like I said, he would tell us these stories, and we kind of didn't really believe him. And he, at one point, he was like, well, come through then. If you don't believe me, come through. Like, come see how it is. And, you know, being young, dumb kids, me and my homie were like, sure, all right. So I can still remember like getting out of school and riding our bikes. That's how long ago this was. Riding our bikes. And we rode our bikes to his house. And right around the corner from where he stayed at was the guy who, like, I don't want to say he was like the leader or nothing like that, but like he definitely had some juice. And his name was Woody Loco. And I don't think that's really like given up too much, because there's probably like a dozen Woody Locos. I don't know. No disrespect to any of the ones out there, you know? But like, that was the first, like, and he was like high socks and like shaka shorts, and you know, like, just your what you would imagine a cholo looking like, I guess. And then when we're there, like it's it was a trap house. There's no other way to put it. It was a trap house. So also the first place that I ever drank Saint Ice, and the last time I drank Saint Ice, because that shit was disgusting and it was super strong. So at Woody's house, he like there was always people coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. He had this like crackhead neighbor who was always fighting with his girlfriend, and like it got to a point a different time where she took a hammer and she smashed it through his windshield of his car. It was pretty funny. But he like these other guys came over, and they were like they had the Pendletons with just one button at the top and like the plain white tees, and like they were even more like what you would think of a cholo than what I just described. And I can remember one of them was named Wedo Snipes, and one of them was named Wedo Snipes, and shit, I can't remember the other one. It doesn't really matter. I'll probably remember it like throughout this video, but like they came through, and like that was the first time that I ever saw an actual like full brick of cocaine, like with the stamp and everything. Like if I'm not mistaken, it either had a lot number on it or like a some kind of like a scorpion or like something like that. I can't remember. Damn, I'm really trying to think of that name. What else? Snipes. And oh, Spanky Loco. Spanky Loco. And not to get that confused, because I've seen a couple Spanky Locos, so no disrespect to like the ones that it doesn't apply to, because I know that there's more than one, but that was the other guy that came through. Okay, so they bust this brick out of cocaine, and I'm like, whoa, like I'd seen maybe uh like not I never had seen like a full brick. Like I'd maybe seen like a quarter of one or half of one or something like that, but this shit was like untouched, like completely untouched, you know. So, um all of a sudden they just start like busting out down lines. And they're busting down lines that like I kid you not, like they were like this they were like this thick. Like they were monsters. And not to mention they put two out on the little surface. So he says like, "Hey, that's all you, Carnal or whatever." And I was like, "Okay." So I see two lines and it's me and my homie, so I'm thinking like, okay, one's for me, one's for him. And I do the first one, which is a gagger. Like I can barely fucking talk afterwards. And then I like go to like hand the bill off to my friend, and the guy stops me and he goes, "Nah, nah, 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 nah. That's for you too." And I was like, damn, like I was barely recovering from the first one, honestly. Like I wasn't a heavy like cocaine user, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not going to turn it down. So like I did mine, and then sure enough, like he did the same thing for my friend. And like we would go down there and like there were videos of like these guys specifically. They would be like maybe some music in the background, and they would just be fighting in like the dirt. Like you could barely see them. Like it would just be like fights and fights and fights and fights and fights. But they were always mad cool to like us, and like I brought a couple other people over there eventually and stuff, and like it was like a whole thing. But what Woody did that was not cool was we were like already tripping on getting back, because like going there is one thing, but then going back at like late at night in like not a good area, and my skin color, like it we thought about that from the beginning. So we get told, oh yeah, you guys can put your bikes in my truck, and then I'll drive you back. So, like, we were just like, all right, cool. And after, like, because, like, me and my friend were both selling weed at the time. So I kind of feel like he was using us, like, to, like, have unlimited weed, I guess you could say. Like, we would just roll blunts, and like that was the first place I ever hit a bong, like a legitimate bong. And like, man. But anyways, when when we are like trying to leave, he all of a sudden springs on us that, oh, actually I have two strikes, so I don't want to risk it with giving you a ride and possibly getting pulled over, and then that would be my third strike. So you guys are going to have to figure it out. And that was not what we were told. Like the opposite of what we were told, like literally. So we did end up having to ride our bikes back, and we did get, thank God it was only eggs. We got eggs thrown at us. I didn't get hit, my homie got hit, but hey, getting hit with an egg, I'll get hit with an egg any day over a bullet. You know what I'm saying? And like we were in an area where that was very possible. So anyways, like we didn't really have a choice but to bike back. I mean, like Woody, like he was a big dude, and like he straight up had 310 blasted on the back of his head. Like you could just tell like he wasn't fucking around. And like even when people would come by and he would serve them or whatever, like you could just tell he wasn't somebody that you wanted to say no to. So we there were many times that I went over to that place, and I brought so many different people. Like I brought someone from Redondo that like it was his birthday, and we convinced him to punch the crackhead next door in the balls, just because it was his birthday, and he actually did it. Rest in peace to that dude, to not the crackhead, but to the guy who punched him in the balls. He's no longer with us, but um, it was hilarious. So like it was just so funny. But yeah, like I I I went over there all the time, like all the time. And like we definitely had some times over there for sure. But like the way that he like oopsie daisied us into coming there and then being like, "Oh, I can't give you a ride." Like, I guess we should have seen that coming. I like, but still, like, I try to take people at their word. So, anyways, after, getting eggs thrown at us like twice on the way back to like our area, that was like the main thing that happened. Thank God nothing worse happened to us, two white boys in the hood. Like, that's just like asking for it at that point. So we ended up making it and we made it back to my pad. And I just remember being really, really, really high. And I got so high, and I know people can relate to this. I made some shit in the microwave or the toaster oven, and I forgot about it. And I didn't even eat anything, and I just knocked out. And so did my homie. So, anyways, like, bottom line, the Cholos were cool. I have no issue with them. Like, I've grown up around Hispanic people and African American people and all types of people my whole life. So, like, I wasn't expecting them to be, like, very intimidating or something like that. Not to say that I thought that they were, like, bitches or something like that. But like they were just like really cool. They were down to earth and stuff, and like they were just very different from what they portrayed on like the internet and stuff instead of real life. But hey man, like that's just the way it was. And I actually ran into my homie Bob fucking in like 2020, so like 4 or 5 years ago, super randomly. And like he's got his own thing going, him and his cousin, who like I know his cousin too and everything. So I wish nothing but the best for them. And like i'm glad that uh I'm glad that he's got something going on and he's successful and everything. And yeah, so that was chilling with Cholos. So it kind of has a catch to it. But for real, like that's what it was. Like, and it wasn't just one time, two times, three times. Like it was many, many, many times. So that's the story. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys watch it. And once again, if you could subscribe to my channel if you're still here, I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope everybody has a nice day. Peace.